started since we have a quorum. You've all had a chance to review the agenda, and so can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I
So
make a
moved.
motion to, second,
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Say
aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, agenda is approved. Next, we'll have the approval of the P and Z meetings minutes for August 17th. Have you all had an opportunity to look them over?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
if there are no suggestions for amendments or additions, can we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Second. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, minutes have been approved. Okay, on to item, before we start in the meeting, is there anything that you may have received from our local citizens that should be brought to our attention at this point in time?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, item number 5. Consider recommendation to council to approve the preliminary plat and final plat for Stanley Plat 1. Is there anyone to speak to that?
This is Kathleen. It looks like Chris Thompson's here
Okay,
from Cooper Crawford, so he could present this.
he's muted. Chris is muted.
Perhaps he's presenting now. Well, if you like, I can run through this one.
Okay.
If you can't, it's fairly straightforward.
Sure.
It's a three lot subdivision that was recently rezoned to PUD.
Right.
He's Kyle Hout's planning on constructing 3 homes on each one of those lots. There's also a small outlot at the southeast side of the plat that is to address a driveway encroachment issue. So we're asking for a record of lot tie between that outlot and the neighbor, Sky Conrad, so that will be permanently tied to his house parcel. We'd also ask for a record of lot tie for the half of the vacated alleyway and the 3 lots that are fronting on Van Dorn. And the reason for that is because they were included in the PUD, but the lots of record as they stand now do not conform to the recent PUD rezoning. The corner lot needed to be wider based on the setbacks along the side street there, and they don't have hydrant coverage as required by your fire code. Some of the lots don't. So long story short, what we're asking there is those 3 lots and the vacated alley on the south side are permanently tied together so that creates one parcel that can't be built on unless they replat in accordance with your PUD ordinance. And my understanding is the property owners have signed that already, so I don't have any further comments. They've addressed all of staff's issues.
All right. Okay, so the plat is basically of those 3 lots, and at some point down the road, the other 3 may come in.
That's a possibility. The buyer has indicated that's not their intention. They're intending
Sure.
just to keep it as open space.
Sure.
But if she ever changes her mind, we always look down the road because people do change their mind and no one lives forever. So even if it's 50 years down the road, they'd have to come back.
They could come back, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And would need to be in compliance at that point in time with whatever assuming it's still PUD zoning or whatever the zoning is at
Sure.
that time.
Okay. All right. Is there any questions or comments from the commissioners?
I just have one clarification. When you were speaking, how many homes are going to be on the lots?
Well, 1 on each lot. There's 3
Okay.
lots.
Okay. That's what I understood, but I think when you were speaking, you said 3 homes on per
Oh.
lot. So that made me.
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
That's okay. I was like, what? Did I miss something? Okay.
Sorry about that. That
all
wasn't
good.
my intention.
Okay. This is actually two, there's a preliminary plat review and final plat review. Is this, if we take, as we take action on this, is this should be done in two separate motions?
The attorney said you can do it in two, or in one, excuse
In
me.
one?
Yep.
Okay, all right. If there's no further discussion on this, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we recommend to council approval of the preliminary plat and the final plat for the Stanley Plat 1, subject to engineer and staff's comments dated September 16th, 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? If not, roll call, please.
Triplett,
Yes.
Bowersox? Yes. Dietz,
Yes.
Olfest,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Sires,
Yes.
Hankins,
Yes.
All right, thank you. We will now take up the next item. Consider recommendation of council to approve Big Creek Valley Plat 2 final plat. Is there someone here to speak to that item? For that item?
Yes, good evening. This is Kelsey Scallon with Shive Hattery, representing Jared Reckel and MJR Developments for this plat. So what you have before you tonight is the second plat for Big Creek Valley. The first, if you remember, was completed last summer, provided 35 lots with plat 1 of Big Creek Valley. We're now back for an additional 30 lots for plat 2. So it's a continuation of the development that's underway. You'll see a lot of houses if you're driving down in that area, a lot of houses being built currently in plat 1 and a lot of excitement to get plat 2 platted and homeowners hopefully moving on their houses.
Any questions from the commissioners? Okay. I think this has been hashed through quite a bit as we were putting this all together. So if there's no further discussion, can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion that we recommend to council approval of the final plat review for Big Creek Valley Plat 2, subject to engineers and staff's comments dated September 16th, 2020.
You have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
If
you all.
there's no other discussion, shall we have a roll call, please?
Olfest,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Sires,
Yes.
Hankins,
Yes.
Triplett,
Yes.
Bowersox? Yes. Dietz.
Yes. All right, thank you. Okay, item number 7. Consider recommendation to council to approve Lakes Early Learning Center site plan. Who is here to speak to this item?
Hello, I'm Emily Feldman, and we are looking to open an early learning center in Polk City and have submitted our site plan for that.
Okay. Can you kind of explain what you're wanting to do here?
Yes, so the building that is there is currently 3,200 square feet. We are looking to add on an additional 4,490 square feet, which would give us about 7,500 square feet. And that would allow us to provide care for 118 children from our Polk City and surrounding communities. And with that, our site plan that Eric Thompson with Fox Engineering has submitted for us includes putting in the parking, our playground, updating the drainage and all the requirements with doing the addition to the property.
All right. Kathleen, did you have any comments
Not particularly. Yeah, they are increasing the detention to accommodate the additional hard surfaced areas. There will be a second driveway off of East Vista Lake. But yeah, they've addressed our comments on the site plan. They have, one of our comments that was outstanding when the letter went out was related to a light fixture, but that has since been resolved. We got the issues on that one taken care of. So the only outstanding item is that staff is recommending that the trail that's on the north side of East Vista Lake Drive go in as a site plan improvement. When Bruce Boland built the phase 1 building, there was a petition and waiver that was signed and put in place at that time because there was no connectivity anywhere. But now we're looking at the city constructing a trail on North 3rd Street that would come up to East Vista Lake Avenue, and also the school would be on the be constructed just to the east. So and they're looking at, for the school, they're looking at a fall of 2022 opening. So that's why we're recommending that rather than continue to defer that trail, that it go in as a site plan improvement.
That's what I was wondering actually, was that with the school going in, if that would be important to have all that through there for the school. So
I have a question, I guess, related to that. If we would still allow a deferment of that, the way those agreements work, how long does it take from the time that the city notifies the party until construction needs to be completed?
I'd have to look at that agreement. Typically it's 180 days, but I would have to look at that specific agreement.
And the reason for my question, and I'd reached out for Chelsea today, and unfortunately we weren't able to connect, but the visioning group that I'm involved in just had a meeting last Thursday, and one of the items that they are looking at is doing a review of trail connections and other things in this area. And provided that recommendation moves forward out of that visioning group, I think they would be approaching the city to see if folks in this East Vista Drive area could be contacted, both on the north side and south side, to see if there's a way to restructure those agreements to move the rec trail from the north side to the south side.
Well, and actually, Ron, you actually already have approved that as a part of the Big Creek Technology Campus Plat 4 preliminary plat that you reviewed. That required a 30-foot wide trail on the south side of what will become the school property, adjacent to Dorfrank Acres. So there is the potential that this trail on the north side could wind up being a 5-foot wide sidewalk rather than a 10-foot trail.
Okay, and also, I mean, what I saw on Thursday was actually a plan showing the rec trail on the south side of Vista, but that was assumed, and not down along Dorfrank, but that was assuming that agreements could be changed.
you know, that is a good point, because I'd hate to have some disconnect on those trails depending on what the final layout might be.
And the reason for me bringing this up at this point in time is if indeed there would be a way to provide them a deferment at this point in time, or continue their existing deferment, and then hopefully 6 months from now we would know how this is resolved, and what final recommendations come out of the visioning committee, which I'm hoping will be concluded by late November. Then at that point in time, if indeed there is going to be a rec trail on the north side of West Vista, or East Vista rather, they could make that request at that point in time. And if there is not, they could make the request for the sidewalk to be installed at that time.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan there.
But my question is would that timing allow whatever is to be built by the time we need it installed? I might add back to the visioning group's concern, as some of the folks that we're working with on visioning, is they didn't want children from the existing part of Polk City to have to cross East Vista on 3rd Street and then go across the rec trail and then cross East Vista again at the school. To get
Again,
back to the south
yeah,
side.
again, where the idea is that it would be on the south side of the school site, so they wouldn't even be going as far north as Vista. They'd be turning east just after Dorfrank. So
Yep,
they would not be crossing East Vista at all, or even traveling along that industrial street, or that street that was originally intended to be industrial.
and understand, and however, that's not what this visioning group is working towards. And that's why I'm thinking if we can allow that this to be deferred until that process concludes, it might provide a better outcome.
Would agree, Ron, until we know what is really going to happen there. And I think it needs to be deferred.
And I might add also, before I started speaking, I noticed I kind of talked over Emily at the start. Do you have any comments on that?
No, my comments were just along the lines of what I have seen. The proposed trail in the capital improvement plan looks like it goes to about Madison Drive and then goes east from there. So that was my question, what the time frame would be to continue the trail on North 3rd Street north to Vista Lake to make that connection, since if we put a trail in right now, it will not go anywhere besides our 350 feet.
Right.
The timing of the trail project is 3 and 4 years out.
Okay.
We would be breaking that up over 2 fiscal years, and that would be in fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there plans beyond Vista Lake Drive for trail connectivity to the Creekview Estates and back down Hug Drive over to Big Creek at all?
Not at this time. There are trail connection, or there's a trail planned along Creekview Estates, but
Okay.
there's nothing planned further south than that.
Okay.
The property owner of Wolf Creek is aware that they would need to make a trail connection between East Vista Lake and Creekview Estates when they develop that vacant outlot on the north side of East Vista.
We're just
So-
requesting the waiver. The existing waiver that's in place does have included in it that the cost of improvements might be assessed against the property with an amount not to exceed $8,000. So for that trail to be put in as the city deems appropriate. So we're just requesting continuation of that.
So, Ron, do you have any other comments about your visioning with the folks planning those?
Regarding the area to the north, or
Yeah,
just,
because I figure you're looking at the whole picture, or trying to anyway.
and part of my role on the visioning committee is to try to not have them redo things that have been previously looked at, I guess. And so what we're trying to keep focused on the Whitetail Drive project, and at least they're looking at continuing the trail over with Whitetail all the way from Big Creek Park to the east, where it joins up with, I think it's 126th. I get confused with the streets up there. And actually where it connects with their proposed connector over to the High Trestle Trail would actually be kind of a little trailhead park area. So they're actually focusing on that Whitetail Drive connection to
Right.
the future High Trestle Trail connection as kind of being a hot spot.
Now, that would be nice if that could be done. Well, I kind of, yeah, I tend to think that to make this all fit together a little better eventually, that should be continued, at least delayed until we have a better picture of how that's all going to lay out. So, any discussion or comments for Emily or anyone about the project itself? And if not, can we get a motion then?
I'd make a motion to recommend the council approving the Lakes Early Learning Center plan, subject to deferral of the 10-foot bike path for the comments received, and that we would recommend continuing that deferment.
Second.
Okay. Roll call?
Hires,
Yes.
Hankins,
Yes.
Triplett,
Yes.
Bowersox,
Yes.
Dietz,
Yes.
Olfest,
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you. And we have one more item here before we get to the miscellaneous. Consider recommendation to council to amend the urban renewal plan for the Polk City Area 2 urban renewal area. I presume that's Roman numeral and not, it's Roman numeral 2, or is it 11?
It's Roman numeral 2.
Okay. City Area 2. All right, thank you. So,
we are amending our urban renewal plan, and we are actually going to add some property into urban renewal area number 2. Most of the property is the town square. So we are looking forward and hoping that incorporating the town square into the city's urban renewal plan could possibly help develop the town square, further develop the town square, but it could be an opportunity for further economic development.
Chelsea, I just had a question because I'm not real familiar with this, but then the city would administer that, and I see there was some cost involved. Are we hiring? Does the city hire somebody else, or is that just additional administrative cost, the $150,000? How does that actually work?
So in addition to adding property into the urban renewal area, we are looking to initiate an administrative program. And part of that program would allow us to capture TIF dollars to pay for economic development activities, such as the chamber. The city does make a fairly large contribution to the Polk City Chamber annually, and it would also allow us to pay like our bond counsel with TIF dollars, a portion of my salary and benefits, as well as our financial advisor that we have on retainer. So all of the dollars we would be using would be for economic development. But yes, in addition to adding property, we are looking to start an administrative program. And no, sorry, I know that was kind of the long answer for you, but the city would administer the program. We just hire bond counsel to assist us in writing the program and with the plan amendment.
Okay.
can you talk about a little bit about how the chamber and the city would be, I guess, a partnership, public-private thing? Is that already in place, or would that be new as part of this?
That is already in place.
Okay.
And
I thought it was, but
yeah, for those of you that don't know, we do make an annual contribution for the chamber for operations. The city gives them $75,000 annually to assist with their operating budget. So part of the program will require the chamber to put together a report as part of the administrative program, just to show that, yes, a portion of their contribution was spent on economic development activities in an urban renewal area.
Okay.
When you talk about around the town square, does that include the square plus all the businesses around the
Yes.
square?
Yes, I have tried to incorporate all of the properties that could be commercial development around the town square.
Okay, now, and I was looking at the plat or the map that was sent out, and this what was sent out was what would be included in the new plan, or the new the new renewal area would include all of that. But right now, you're saying that just basically what is included now is just down around the square.
The
No, the
purple is
square-
what's being added.
the square is what is being added.
Okay.
And it is a very small piece compared to the existing urban renewal area.
Okay. All right. All right.
So I think Polk City Area 2 is in like a reddish color,
Right.
and then the square was purple.
Okay. Yep. All right. Are there any other questions or discussion?
So anytime the city adds property into an urban renewal area, we have to get the recommendation from the commission, and that is what we are asking for this evening.
Okay. And then then it looks like there's a public hearing coming in October, and then the city will follow on after that, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, right. Okay, is there any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we recommend to council approval of the amendment to the urban renewal plan for Polk City Area 2 urban renewal area.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second?
All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Olfest,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Dyers,
Yes.
Hankins,
Yes.
Triplett,
Yes.
Bowersox,
Yes.
Dietz.
Yes. All right. And finally, our reports and particulars. Ron, do you have anything for us this evening?
Ron, you're muted.
You're muted, Ron.
You're muted. Ron? Okay, I think,
Is that better?
gotcha. Good.
Guys, I've been talking my head off here and nobody
Better.
knew it. Oh, I really haven't had anything to say. I just want to say I thank the commission for being cognizant about those trails, because that's very important to almost everyone in Polk City. We're still getting letters from citizens appreciating the fact that the visioning group is considering those trails. And I believe, Chelsea, if you'll bear me out, stage one of that trail out there is, or phase one, if we're going to do it in phases, is up Vista Lake Drive. So this is very important that we keep that going and keep these developers involved so they can do their part. So thank you for that. Other than that, council meeting, work session last week, got a lot accomplished. We talked about adding staff. We're getting a study done to see where we compare with other cities, to see how that will come along, and should start taking shape soon, I would think, after that study is done. I think Chelsea will bear me out that urban renewal, we've talked about being able to have TIF, that mostly the TIF we've done in Polk City in the past has benefited developers, and now we'd like to be doing some TIF that benefits the city. So that's where that's coming from. And I think these are all positive moves and the thing that will help the city overall in the future.
Very good. All right, thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, city manager. Chelsea, you have anything for us? Well, you do have something for us. Just before our meeting, we got that big email with several rather large documents to look at. Do you want to talk about that and anything else you need to tell us?
I do. I have a very big task for the commission. So we have been working on the city's subdivision ordinance and updating that ordinance. It was very outdated. So since about April, the staff has been working on going through the ordinance and making some changes. So the proposed draft that the commission has is for our next meeting in October. What I would like for the commission to do is to go through the document. It's 66 pages, and I'd like you to review it. You should have received the red line version, so you should be able to see what changes have been made. And I understand we may have sent you the wrong red line version, so we will make sure we get you the more accurate one. But what I would like for the commission to do is go through the document and be prepared to discuss it October 19th. If you find grammatical issues, please send those to Jenny prior to October 15th, and we will just take care of those. But any big question things that you have, or if you think anything was left out that had not been considered, we will talk about on the 19th. So this is a pretty big undertaking for the commission, but I think that it's going to be a fun project for us to do, and hopefully what we get out of this is a much better subdivision ordinance.
All right, good. Well, we'll do our best. Right, everybody?
Question.
We'll do our best.
Hey, I had a question.
Chelsea, one thing. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just wondering, and I just texted Jen before the meeting, can we get a paper copy? I guess I'm old fashioned and I like to make notes on a paper copy. I know it's a lot of sheets, but is that possible?
Yes, I will. Let me make arrangements with you, Doug. I'll reach out and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, that was actually, we're thinking along the same way there, Doug. When I have that kind of a thing to do, I do prefer to have a hard copy, and I don't need both. If you could give us what the final draft is, I can take a quick look at the one with the that's marked up. I can look at that on the screen, but to read a document like that on a screen really gets to me. So I would prefer to have a paper document if that would be possible.
Okay.
And you can put it on two sides too. I mean, to save paper. I don't like to burn all the trees, but it would be helpful.
This is Kathleen. I'd like to jump in just a little bit here. What I'm planning to do, and I will send it out to you sometime this week, is a kind of a short bullet point list of the major changes that you'll see between this ordinance and the prior subdivision ordinance, which was in place and has been virtually unchanged since at least before 2003. So it is, as Chelsea said, it is outdated. I'm not sure the red lines will help you so much because the red line versions don't equate back to your current ordinance. They relate back to the first draft I put together, which so all you'll see is through the red lines, you'll see staff's comments and changes, but it doesn't necessarily go back to your current ordinance. So I don't know if that'll be helpful or not. I mean, I guess you can see the thought that staff has put into it, but the bullet points I think will help you compare where you are now to the proposed ordinance.
That'll be fine. Like I say, I don't need a copy of the marked up one. If I could get a copy of what the final draft is so far, would be helpful.
We will make arrangements. Does anybody else have any questions, concerns about reviewing that at our next meeting?
All right, good.
If I could make a comment about this,
Sure.
this this assignment going forward to the P&Z Commission. It's very important, and I know that you guys will do your best. You always do. Have a lot of confidence in what you will take by looking at this and bring back to the council. And I'm sure you all know by now that we rely on you guys a lot because of the job you do, and I really appreciate it. I just want to say thank you. And this is something that's very near and dear to me, that we get better participation from developers here in town. So thank you.
Okay, good, good. Anything else, Chelsea, that we need to know, or do you want to pass on to us?
No, that is all I have tonight. Thank you.
Okay, all right, good. Members of the commission have anything noteworthy?
Just a brief update on the visioning committee that I alluded to earlier. We did have a meeting last Thursday that was real productive. We're trying to get finalized some large presentation boards to help communicate some of our findings and recommendations to the public. We're having a real tough time this year in that and looking at Iowa State and their resources and what's been done in prior years. All of the rollout things are means that you would normally communicate this to the public and to citizens. It is very difficult to do this year. And, you know, how do you get the word out on what's been done? So we're kind of doing some soul searching there. I know probably sometime prior to our next meeting, or maybe just before our next meeting, we're looking at some dates to do something in the city square with our presentation boards to try to get the word out. When that date gets finalized, I'll try to communicate that to this commission too, in case you want to stop by, and
Sure.
I encourage you to stop by and see what we've been up to. So that's one item. And then secondly, since we started to talk about the urban renewal plans today, and Ron Anderson mentioned the term TIF, something I've always been a little concerned about is our Whitetail Drive extension north of Hug. And in particular, the portion that goes over Wolf Creek through the ravine. I'm hoping that everyone collectively can start thinking about how the heck is that going to be paid for, to put in, you know, probably some very large box culverts and a lot of grading work through there. I think a lot of whitetail we're looking to developers to pay for with the surrounding land that they're doing development work on. That specific piece through there, I'm not really sure that logic holds true. And when we get whitetail completed to the west, you know, we're going to need some way to bridge that gap. And so hoping that, you know, the city and the council and folks are looking ahead as far as how that piece can be concluded.
All right. Anybody else have anything for us this evening? Well, if not, I guess we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Good night, everyone.
Thanks,
Good night.
folks.
Have a good evening. Stay safe out there.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good to see everyone, kind of.
Bye now.
Good night.